60. He also holds the record for the all-time records of French Opens, talking about 13 French Opens. So you understand that this man has been, a very big figure in the world of tennis. For him to reach that maybe exclusive, list, joining just 3 other people to make himself the 4th person. And you look at those on that list, you know that they are legends in their own right. Well, there's the legendary Roger Federer in that list. There's Connor in that list, and then Ivan Lendl as well. So you understand that joining that group of excellent tennis players, is something laudable. It's something that you should be very happy about. But when you're a fantastic player, especially when Rafael Nadal, we have always known him to be the king of clay court. So whenever it comes to the clay court, he has always been able to do justice to whoever comes up against him, and that is the kind of I'll say career he has had. And it can only be the stepping stone for him, and it will be the first of many more for him. So it's a good time to celebrate the legendary Rafael Nadal this morning, and I'm very, very excited to be on SportsBang this morning.
Okay, and to boxing, where Anthony Joshua could spoil the positioning done by contenders Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker by choosing to defend his WBO heavyweight title against his mandatory challenger Alexander Usyk in early 2021. And that's according to reports. Joshua's promoter Eddie Earn gave a hint this week that Joshua values his title, which means he might not vacate the WBO belt like many fans are predicting. If Joshua chooses to keep his WBO belt, he can easily face Usyk in early 2021 and then take on Fury in the summer in June or July. The second fight with Fury could occur in December, and it shouldn't be a problem for Joshua to get 3 fights during the year. Dubois' promoter Frank Warren said on Monday that they're interested in facing Usyk, who has 18 wins so far, 13 KOs, if the WBO title of Joshua elects, if Joshua elects to vacate that belt. But I mean, Feromi, good morning. It's great to have you here. Welcome. Let's talk about boxing real quick.
Yeah,
I mean, all of these distractions coming about who he could face in 2021 or not. How about we allow him face what's in front of him in December? Next, about 3-4 weeks from now. Kubrat Pulev.
Yeah, I want to believe. Good morning to you, Blessing. Good morning to Faith, and of course to our wonderful listener out there. Well, I want to believe they're also focusing on that particular fight as well, because they know that a belt is also on the line in that particular one as well. They lose that, and they may actually be losing another belt. So I think, despite the fact that we're talking about them focusing on this, I think they're also looking into the future, because they know that Usyk would not actually want to wait for a fight between himself and Fury before he actually gets his chance at actually fighting against Anthony Joshua. And remember, when he actually won that fight against his opponent, talking about Chisora right there, it was actually talking and literally calling AJ out that he's actually ready to take him on. And this is a man that he has actually been looking forward to taking on Anthony Joshua. He believes that he has what it takes to be able to actually get him inside the ring. And of course, this is a huge opportunity for him to actually do that. So I don't expect him to want to sit back, and that is why they are kind of under pressure at this point in time, because they feel that, okay, if they do not take that fight, if they do not start talking about it, they might be actually forced to vacate in that particular belt. And you wouldn't want to vacate something that you've actually held for a very long time, knowing fully well that you still have a big shout to be able to actually defend it right there. So I think it's just what it is. I believe that it's the camp of Joshua that is just trying to do the talking. I don't believe Joshua is actually distracted from Pulev's fight, because I believe that is also very, very important. You lose that, your career might actually be affected on the long run. So I think, it's just what it is at this point in time, trying to make sure that everything is actually packaged and ready for 2021. I think it's all good, because they're actually giving us an exciting one to actually watch out for in 2021. So for me, I think they're still focused on Pulev.
Okay, it looks like 2021 is loaded with many fights to come, but in all of these fights, Deontay Wilder has not been mentioned in any.
Who is he?
When you lose big fights like that,
he shouldn't take you out totally, and he has done that to Wilder, taking him out totally. He's been quiet on all fronts.
No, it can happen. Sometimes it takes you into oblivion. People will forget about you. That is just how
he's been giving unnecessary excuses instead of focusing on the future, and that is one of his major problems at this point in time.
It's how wicked the world of boxing can be. You might have racked up so many wins, but when you get that loss and you also get another chance to do it, and you don't do it, then unfortunately you might get forgotten. You might get back into that that forgotten era, except to get a big fight, because everyone would be looking beyond you now, because the belts are no longer with you. So you are no longer the that bride that everyone wants to catch. Nobody wants to catch your attention again. You are no longer that attractive bride, because the belts are not with you. So those that are with the belts will definitely get the higher. We get the attention of everyone. So it's so unfortunate for Wilder right now, but he's a big fighter. We cannot take anything away from him. He's a powerful puncher. On his day, once he hits you very hard, it's almost done and dusted. So if he gets a big fight, I cannot entirely rule him out finding his way back. Some of the biggest fighters in times past have also had that kind of blip in their careers, and they've been able to rally themselves back. It happened to Mike Tyson, it happened to Lennox Lewis, it happened to some of the biggest boys, it happened to even Muhammad Ali, the big one of the greatest. So it can happen anytime. You can lose fights. In the heavyweight division is very, very difficult. But once you get that chance, once you get that crack, that chance to have a crack at it again, then you definitely need to utilize it. I hope Wilder will forget about it now. Look at what is in front of him, and whenever he gets that chance, he'll be able to do justice to it.
Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. You can go on Facebook and search for Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan to get to see us this morning. Still SportsBang on Splash FM. Moving away from boxing, let's talk about basketball now, where the Nigerian Basketball Federation has confirmed that the Tigers will not hold their training camp in the country ahead of the 2021 AfroBasket qualifying game in Rwanda. The second round window is scheduled for November 25 to 29 in Kigali, while the AfroBasket 2021 will run from August 24 through to September 5, also in Rwanda. The Tigers, runners-up at the 2017 AfroBaskets, will be hoping to win all their games in Rwanda to put them in pole position for the 2021 tourney at the magnificent 10,000-seater Kigali Arena. MBBF Secretary General Afolabi Oluwayemi Olabisi, who confirmed that the federation officials are still gathering the names of the players to be invited, also revealed that there will be no camping of players in Nigeria ahead of the qualifiers. Well, we've been grouped alongside host nation Rwanda, Mali, and Algeria in Group D, and the Tigers will begin their race of qualification against Algeria starting from the 26th of November before taking on Rwanda on the 28th of November as well, and their last game will be against Mali on the 29th of November. Remember, the top three teams from each group will automatically qualify for the FIBA AfroBasket 2021 to be held in Rwanda, and I want to believe that qualifying should not be a problem for the Tigers at this point. I mean, we've had a fine run of performances actually with the national team, both the men and women's basketball team. Away from that, talk about the National Sports Festival. There's been questions about when this will return, but the Sports and Youth Development Minister, Sunday Dare, says he will meet with the 36 state commissioners of sports tomorrow in Asaba to discuss the issues on sports development as well as the National Sports Festival. Now, according to the special advisor, media to the minister, John Joshua Konji, deliberation on the 2020 National Sports Festival, built to take place in Benin, will be top on the agenda, and it dismissed speculations that the festival has been postponed till next year as false, saying the ministry has not taken any decision on the event yet. The 2020 National Sports Festival, which was postponed due to COVID-19 outbreak earlier this year, has been in the news since the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 lifted the ban on contact sports. So we're waiting for a go-ahead to know when this tournament, when this event will return. And to the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the Ministry of Youth and Sports are still saying, and the Presidential Task Force really are saying, that they advised the Edo State government and the Nigerian Football Federation against allowing fans into the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City. Remember, I think it was last week or earlier this week, we're talking about them actually throwing the gates open for fans to come in, but now they are saying this should go on without fans.
I think, when this actually came out talking about, the government throwing the gates open, one thing that actually came into my mind was that, okay, are we now allowing fans? Because I believed, when they actually allowed the return of football, one thing that was actually included in the guidelines was the fact that football should be played behind closed doors where spectators will actually not be allowed for the time being. And, when the government says it's actually throwing the gates open, I'm feeling like, okay, maybe, they're actually changing something or changing the rules. So I think, this is the right step in the right direction if if you actually want to actually stay with what you've actually outlined earlier, because if they do this now, this would be like a model for MPFL teams to want to do the same when the season starts, because they'll feel like, okay, when the Super Eagles can actually have fans inside the stadium, why can't we also do the same? So I think, it's just what it is at this point in time, and I think I totally agree with this, not allowing fans in the stadium.
I don't totally agree. Of course, when it comes to health, I understand that health is very important. But when we were having political rallies here and there, when we were having several gatherings here and there,
which was wrong, remember?
How about doing all those things? They were wrong, and I will continue. We went ahead with it. It's just only testament to the fact that sport is not as important as it is. Of course, health is very important. We don't want a surge. We don't want a spike. We don't want maybe a second wave or another wave of COVID-19 as well. But then when we are making our...
But remember, the fact that some people did the wrong thing does not mean other people should actually do the same. They actually did what was not right, and we castigated them for doing that. So I think, because they actually allowed a lot of people in the rally does not make it right. Does not mean that we should actually allow a lot of fans inside the stadium at this point in time, knowing fully well that, COVID is still out there.
No, I'm not saying allow so many fans, but then allow some people in. It's the national team we're talking about. Then we'll observe all the necessary social distancing. Maybe 20, 30, 34% capacity of the stadium, then we can't do that. Well, I'm still very much in support of that. But if the task force is saying that we can't allow fans in, then so be it. But for me, I'm not entirely cool with that idea.
Okay, and Leon Stars captain, that's Sierra Leone, the captain Umaru Bangura has been omitted from the list of 16 foreign-based players invited by the head coach John Keister for that qualifying match against Nigeria. Bangura recently returned to his Switzerland club FC Zurich after being cleared of COVID-19 in Niger. But Major League fifth all-time scorer Kei Kamara, who scored a brilliant goal against Liberia during the second leg of the 2022 World Cup qualifier in Freetown last September, has been recalled for both matches. They have a couple of legs that will be missing for this one. I guess that should be good news for Nigeria. But remember, the game is coming up on Friday, November 13th at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, and the reverse fixture will take place just 4 days later at the Siaka Stevens Stadium in Freetown. And now we're turning our attention to the European scene, starting off from the English Premier League. Not good news for many fans of Southampton. Danny Ings, their striker, is set to be out for about 6 weeks as he requires a minor surgery on a knee injury. He was substituted in the 85th minute of their 4-3 Premier League victory at Aston Villa on Sunday following a challenge with Trezeguet. Saints said the initial result of a scan on the England's international's left knee were favourable on Monday, but boss Ralph Hasenhuttl said yesterday that it looks like it is out for 4 to 6 weeks, and that definitely will be a huge blow for Southampton. This man scored 22 goals last season, one behind Golden Boot winner Jamie Vardy, and already he has 5 in 7 games so far this season, including that the 4th goal he scored against Aston Villa. And missing out due to injury definitely won't be very, very good on Southampton. Okay, in the UEFA Champions League, Manchester United embarrassed by Başakşehir, a 9-man PSG beaten by Leipzig. What's going on in that group? I mean, thinking that United's defeat could throw that group open, and only for PSG to lose to Leipzig. And Chelsea are looking very, very impressive at this time. They're looking very solid at the back now. 10 goals they have scored in 3 games, and they have conceded none. Yeah. Mendy, the name of the goalkeeper, doing very well. And Messi was on target yesterday, but Barcelona struggled past Dynamo Kiev. This is the BBC Premier League update. We return to talk about those games. Stay with us.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Andy Barwell at the BBC Sports Centre. Manchester United suffered a bad defeat in their latest UEFA Champions League group game. They were beaten 2-1 away in Turkey by Istanbul Başakşehir, and our senior football reporter Ian Dennis was watching.
An awful result and performance from Manchester United, but the defending or lack of it for the first goal was abysmal. Özcan's long ball from his own penalty area found Demba Ba on the halfway line with no one around him. AWOL, the United defence, and Ba went on to score. The defending wasn't much better for the second goal. Turuc outmuscled Mata, which eventually led to Visca with a fierce finish after 40 minutes. 2 minutes later, Manchester United's first shot on target, Martial's downward header, saw them reduce the arrears. The second half, United had plenty of possession, but they lacked creativity. And Istanbul Başakşehir fully deserved this famous win for what is a real setback for Manchester United.
Well, Chelsea remain unbeaten in their Champions League group stage campaign. 3-0 winners at home to the French team Rennes. Here's Alistair Bruce Ball with more details.
Thoroughly professional performance from Chelsea. Frank Lampard will be happy with that. You have to say they got a little bit lucky in that Dalbert was given a yellow card for each penalty he conceded. We don't think he should have got one for either challenge. Werner stuck both penalties away. Tammy Abraham got the third.
And the Crystal Palace defender Mamadou Sakho has accepted substantial damages from the World Anti-Doping Agency over allegations he took banned performance-enhancing drugs. Sakho was briefly suspended in 2016 when he was a Liverpool player after testing positive for a fat-burning substance. UEFA cleared him when it was found that it wasn't banned by WADA. For more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Okay, welcome back. You're still tuned to Splash FM, and this is SportsBang. And thankfully for that song, Josh played that song as a Manchester United fan. So let's talk about what happened last night. Fair on me. I mean, I hear they've been banned from eating turkey.
Yeah,
they went away to Turkey and they got eaten.
And they got eaten. They hit the head. That was why. But then I think, it was a disastrous performance, a shambolic one from United yesterday. In as much as I believe that Ole is clueless, but then let's talk about the players. Let's talk about the defense yesterday. There are some things that you should not be taught. There are some things that you should not be taught. You should not be told. These are basic things. You went out for a corner. It's not as if you were losing in the 90th minute. It's not as if you actually needed a goal that serious in the 92nd minute and you needed everybody up front and you left your backline like that. Who does that? I mean, if you had a leader, at that backline, I think he should have actually coordinated that.
Maguire is a leader.
Excuse me, Liwo? Come on, let's not deceive ourselves. I think, they lacked that composure, that leadership quality at the back yesterday. And that was what actually made them to lose that particular game. But not to take anything away from Bakesha yesterday. They actually came into that game thinking that they were actually going to get something. And they did. So I think, that group was always going to be one of the toughest in the Champions League. And it's looking like it is at this point in time. Because it's looking like even PSG that we thought was actually the favorite actually lost as well. So I think they are just serving us some interesting one right there in that particular group. And hey, never say never. I still don't know who would actually qualify to the next round in that particular, despite the fact that United have actually won 2 games.
Well, I think Christmas came early for Istanbul yesterday. Their first ever Champions League win. Manchester United, they gave them that bonanza over there. But that was very, very terrible, just like Feromi said, from Manchester United. I hope they will do better going forward.
But I was listening to Roy Keane talk about Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he made a comment about how the manager would not win anything playing with that with the caliber of players that he had, and Ole was trying to maybe defend his players against Roy Keane. In his response, that it was like, no, I mean,
is Roy Keane out telling us that those players are not good enough?
But I also saw how you were ranting on social media yesterday about that game. Is it about Ole or the players now?
Well, I think it's down to the management. But Roy Keane has been, a huge friend of Ole. So every single comment from him has always been either blaming one player or the other. He has been avoiding castigating Ole in himself. But down to that arrangement, Ferrum was talking about the first goal yesterday. You saw that that counter attack. You saw that shape. You don't go out for a Champions League game like that. It's not a Sunday league game or an amateur game. You don't arrange yourselves that way. That was very, very shambolic. And you can only look at the coach. You have to say this is a coaching problem. What are the members of the coaching crew doing?
Where was Ole at that point in time?
Well, it was on the touchline.
Did you need to lace up and get onto the pitch?
But then
what was he supposed to do?
That was really, really terrible. No, I did mean there was a proper organizational discipline in the team. Everyone knows where they should be. We're having an attacking corner kick. Then you should be here. You should be. Everyone understands their position in the team. But you don't just go and then you do anything you like. Very early in the game like that, and that caused them 2 early goals in that game, and then there was almost no way back for them.
And from the PSG angle as well, it seemed that were just in the finals of the Champions League few months ago. Look at them struggling. They are currently placed third, 3 points from all the games they've played so far in that group, with the this tiny line of qualification, because they could drop to the Europa League and even miss out totally from Europa League as well. But how terrible would the season be for someone like Thomas Tuchel?
Very terrible one.
The Champions League will be very important for them, but this is a very difficult job for him to do. This is an injury-ravaged team. They have so many senior players and very key players out injured, and it will always be difficult for you to do any job when you have some of your reliable legs out injured. But regardless of that, they should still be able to do justice to some of these teams. I expect them in the second leg, when they come up against Leipzig at home now, they should be able to do better than what they did last time.
Okay, and in other games, Chelsea defeated Reims. Very good game for them, 3-0. And Sevilla also defeated FK Krasnodar 3-2. And Barcelona 2-1 against Dynamo Kiev. It was a struggle for them. For Ferromis, Barcelona.
They won.
But they won. And today in the Europa League, lots of games to look forward to. Arsenal will be in action against Molde, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's former team. Rapid Vienna against Dundalk. There will be Tottenham also be in action as well. All of those games in the Europa League. Lots and lots of games to look forward to tonight in the Europa League. Guys, your parting shot on the show this morning, Faith?
Well, I'm looking forward to the Europa League. I hope Arsenal will be able to do justice to Molde. The team from Norway. We're always good to be on SportsBang.
He thinks they're for a team from Turkey.
Don't mind it.
Parting shot.
Yeah, I think still the only teams unbeaten is definitely Barcelona, Liverpool, City, and of course Bayern. So we are doing well.
They are doing well.
Thank you so much.
Indeed. Thanks for being on the show, Feromi Adeboyega and Faith Adedeji. Thanks for being here. Join us tomorrow at 7:30 for Winning Friday edition of SportsBang. My name is Blessing Fowowe. Au revoir.
Splash FM.
Àtúgbẹ̀dẹ̀ o, èyí tí wọ́n ta wọ́n yọ Samsung Glow Tax Sale. Ẹ̀dínwó ọjà tó kà màmá tí ò lẹ́gbẹ́ mi. Gba ẹ̀dínwó tó tó ìdá 20 lórí àwọn Samsung smartphone.